Imagine a factory where the laws of physics bend, where materials behave in ways you'll never see on Earth, a place where no two products are quite the same, yet each one is flawless, pure, precise, and untouched by gravity's pull. Welcome back to the Open Source ReThink. I'm Thren, your host, and today we're stepping beyond gravity's grip into a revolution already taking shape above our heads: orbital manufacturing. This isn't science fiction anymore, it's coming fast, and it could reshape how we build, how we heal, and maybe even how we live our lives as a species. For decades, the idea of factories in space lived in the same drawer as flying cars and teleporters. Fascinating, but impossible. But the impossible has a habit of sneaking up on us. Three things have majorly changed. First, rockets. For half a century, every launch meant throwing the rocket away, one use, and then into the ocean. But now, reusable rockets are here. SpaceX landing boosters like its routine, and with Starship, a rocket the size of a skyscraper, promises to haul massive loads to orbit at a fraction of today's cost. And then we have Blue Origin and other reusable rocket developers who are chasing close behind. Second, robotics. A factory in orbit won't rely solely on workers travelling from Earth. It'll mostly run on robotic arms, autonomous systems, and AI. Technology that's already been tested on the ISS and is proving that machines can build, repair, and operate in space without human hands. And third, the payoff. What we can make up there isn't just a little better than Earth-made stuff, it's different. Entire categories of products that Earth's gravity just simply won't allow. That's not an upgrade, that's a paradigm shift. So what makes zero gravity so special? On Earth, everything we build is fighting against invisible hands. Convection currents, buoyancy, sedimentation, they distort, they mix, they weaken. But in orbit, all that disappears. Liquids form perfect spheres, metals don't separate into heavy and light bands, crystals don't collapse under their own weight, processes that gravity ruins, space perfects. Take ZB-LAN fiber optics. On Earth, gravity creates tiny flaws in the glass, but in space, you get flawless fibers capable of transmitting data hundreds of times faster. Imagine the next internet backbone, strung together with cables made above the Earth. Or protein crystals. The bigger and more ordered they are, the easier it is to map their structures. And in orbit, they form beautifully. That clarity can unlock new drugs, faster cures for Alzheimer's, cancer, and countless other diseases. Space doesn't just make things better, it makes things that Earth never could. So, what's on the horizon? The first wave is already in motion. Superalloys that can cope with greater heat, critical for hypersonic jets, spacecraft, and even fusion reactors. Semiconductors grown as massive flawless crystals, the kind of chips that could supercharge AI and computing far beyond what we have now. And for biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, we could have cells that are grown in 3 dimensions, not flattened by gravity. Imagine lab-grown meat forming naturally, no scaffolding required. Or bioprinted organs, a heart, a kidney, printed in orbit. And even vaccines and drugs that could be made in orbit that would not be possible down here in the gravity well. Then when it comes to infrastructure, this is where it gets practical. Instead of shipping every nut and bolt from Earth, we can print parts in space, repair and maintain satellites in a faster, more cost-effective way. And here's where orbital manufacturing really opens up something truly game-changing: ships that never land. Right now, every spacecraft we build is designed like a Swiss Army knife. It has to launch from Earth, survive the violent ascent, operate in space, and sometimes land again. That means compromise on every level. But imagine a new class of vessel, built entirely in orbit, too large and delicate to ever survive launch, designed only for the void: planetary transit ships. They'd ferry people and cargo between Earth and the Moon, Mars and beyond, but they'd never touch down. Instead, smaller shuttles would handle the hops in and out the gravity well. Freed from those constraints, engineers can rethink everything. No more need for aerodynamic shapes, no more folding solar panels just to fit inside a rocket fairing. Instead, you can build huge rotating habitats that create artificial gravity, massive efficient propulsion systems that don't need to throttle down for launch, sprawling radiators, solar wings, and even nuclear drives. In orbit, we can build ships the size of cities, ships designed not for Earth, but for the cosmos. And of course, it won't be easy. Robotics needs to function flawlessly in the vacuum of space. Life support systems must recycle endlessly if humans are to be ever present. Machinery has to be shielded from deadly radiation, and the energy demands massive. Perhaps we could develop orbital solar farms that soak up unfiltered sunlight, and perhaps even compact reactors quietly powering factories in the dark. And then there's the cost. For decades, it was the wall that stopped us, but launch prices are coming down rapidly. from tens of thousands of dollars per kilo down to hundreds, and soon, maybe less than $100 per kilo. That's the tipping point, when orbital factories shift from niche luxury products to mainstream industries. So what does all this mean for us down here? Imagine a phone with a processor so efficient it barely sips power, medical devices with a greater degree of surgical precision, everyday products stronger, lighter and longer lasting. And beyond products, there's a bigger prize: sustainability. Factories in orbit can tap resources from asteroids or the moon, metals, volatiles, rare earths, pulled from space, not torn from our planet. Earth becomes a place for living, rather than strip mining. And in the long run, this is how humanity steps beyond one fragile world and creates a stepping stone for a truly multiplanetary existence. When industries can thrive in space, we're no longer tied to Earth. We're resilient, independent, a civilization amongst the stars. So here's the question. What will we create when gravity no longer holds us back? And what kind of future will we build when our factories are orbiting above us, shaping not just products but humanity's destiny itself? Because this isn't only about making things better, it's about rewriting our place in the universe. I'm Thren and this has been the Open Source ReThink. If you've enjoyed this little dive into orbital manufacturing, please like, subscribe, and please let me know in the comments, what do you think we can truly achieve once we've broken free of Earth's gravity well and take manufacturing into orbit? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.